Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. How's it going tonight? Good evening. It is another episode of the Hillbilly Think Tank. Boy, have we got quite a time at hand. So, we know that Long Don Silver has now released a gold card. He says with this gold card, if you've got $1 million, you can immigrate here from anywhere you want to be from, as long as you can hand $1 million to the Trump card. Also, if you've got $2 million and you're a corporation, you can bring in any individual you want. You got to pay a hefty $150,000 processing fee also. So Trump Gold Card is live. That old saying that we had on, we still have, but I think we're going to chip it off here soon, on the Statue of Liberty. Give me your poor, your huddled masses, yearning to breathe free. Yeah, we don't want people yearning to breathe free now. We just want rich folks yearning for oligarchy. That's what we want. Come here, create oligarchy with folks like Musk and Peter Thiel. You can pay us anything you want and get right in the country. If you want to come in, roll your sleeves up, work hard, build things, forget about it. I've got a dear friend in Montana who has a very successful roofing company. He can't find people willing to accept his excellent pay to do roofing. When I was young and got a job working for a contractor in Eastern Kentucky over the summer when I was in college, this is back in the 90s, working minimum wage, and I did some hot tar roofing. That was miserable, hot work. And if that tar splashed on my skin and I'd have my sleeves rolled down, if I wasn't in, long sleeves in those 90-degree days, while rolling out that hot tar and spreading it, mopping it down, yeah, if it splashed up on me, that was burning right down through my skin, giving me a very serious burn. It takes real people, real tough folks to do that kind of work. Well, my friend in Montana, he's pissed, plenty of people off when he rolls up and his crew has some Hispanics working on it. They're like, we wanted Americans. Well, find him some Americans that are willing to work for him. So we got people that are willing to work, but they don't have $1 million. Right now, we've got ICE rolling into immigration ceremonies where the folks have done everything legally, got their paperwork, they're ready to raise their right hand, and ICE comes in and says, no, you're not raising your right hand, get out, we're taking you out. We tell everybody to do things legally, and we do that to them. That's worrisome. Now we talked about last night, seized an oil tanker. They even got the videos now, it's released, of military going into helicopter, like I've talked about, being trained to do with special operations, fast roping down onto this tanker, going down to the engine, turning it off while another team goes up to the bridge. That's the pilot house, captures that, and the vessel's captured. We're towing it right now to a U.S. port. So Congress hasn't authorized a war with Venezuela. The president said, hey, watch out, listen up, watch carefully. There's more coming next. What more? 22 missile strikes on small boats before we seized this big boat, which interestingly, we didn't blow it out of the water. And now we have the option to send in the Marines that have been floating off the coast for a bit, more troops that are pre-positioned in Vieques, Puerto Rico, place we used to have a Navy base, and we reopened it again. Costing us how much money? Yeah. Are tax dollars really being put to good use? That's all I want to know, because I know here in Hardin County, we're growing steadily. We just got the news today that SK, which means South Korea, so the blue oval SK, the SK portion, South Koreans are pulling out. They're not going to be part of the venture down in the southern part of Hardin County. So now Glendale, we got to look at all that work that was done down there and the 1,400 employees that are down there. Are their jobs secure? That's worrisome. And why did SK pull out? They're worried about the electric vehicle market. This president decided as soon as he came into office to get rid of the incentives for electric vehicles. Well, those incentives were producing excellent jobs for Hardin Countyans, for Kentuckians. So what are we going to do? What is at hand? All this money we're spending south of our border in the Caribbean and South America, giving $40 billion to Argentina during a government shutdown, giving billions of dollars across the Atlantic over to Israel, giving billions of dollars there, promising billions more every year. Did that also even during the shutdown, bringing in all the cattle we can glut our market with here in America from Argentina. All this money, what's it doing for the average Joe? This $1 million gold card that millionaires can now pay to get into our country, easy peasy, quick and easy. What's that doing for our county, for our state, for Kentucky, for Kentuckians, for every other state in this union, every other hardworking American in this unit? In the United States of America, we got a lot of hardworking people. They want to be paid an honest wage for an honest day's work. They deserve it. They also deserve health care. We still haven't agreed on funding for the ACA. So people are either going to go from paying $600 to $6,000, $8,000 or more per year now for their health care costs to have their insurance. This is not helping America. This is not America first. It's rich folks first, no matter where you're from, no matter where you are. In the U.S., outside the U.S., it's all about the rich are first. The oligarchy is first. But American farmers, American ranchers, American small businesses, all these policies are doing nothing to help them. We drive up the cost of health care. All those costs have to be absorbed by the American small business. And that's not fair to anyone at all. So what are we going to do? Hi there, Cactus and Pumpkin Bros. What do you think we should do? Sierra, Brett, hey, what do you think we should do? All right. Are we wisely spending U.S. money? That's what I want to know. Is this what our taxpayers' money is supposed to be spent on? Or should it be spent on Americans, on lifting up all Americans? I think it should. I think we need to do things to bring back those incentives to keep the electric battery plant in our county productive and viable, right? Because Ford had already talked about not only using the batteries for the Ford Lightnings and for the Ford Mustangs, but also they're coming out with a small electric vehicle truck that's supposed to have been developed this coming year. But are we now going to tank that just to make other companies overseas rich? That's what I want to know. That's what I want to see. So, all right, remember, I am running for magistrate here in Hardin County. I'd love to have your vote. Love to get to work for Hardin County. We've got a lot of things that we want to do and need to do. You know, we need to see that public transportation project that was promised us that would run between Elizabethtown and Radcliffe. We need to see it developed and actually come to fruition, not just be an empty promise. Let's make it happen. Y'all have a great one. Remember, love your neighbors as yourself. We are a brother's keeper. We're a sister's keeper. God bless your corazon. Have a very great evening. And again, all those making comments there, Sierra, Cactus, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Have a great night.